We don't want to duck at Saratoga, but here at Belmont Park, they're okay. We've got plenty of them. Wildlife all over. This is the Palace, after all. 500 acres or so here in Elmont, New York, going strong for well over a century. And tonight's the night here on MSG Plus, the Sunday edition of Belmont Insider. Maggie Wolfendale, Jason Blewitt, and our abbreviated three-day weekend to kick things off. This fall championship meet came to a close today.
It did. We didn't dodge the weather, but the ducks or geese or whatever they are out there seem to be enjoying the pond as it was filled up here, Jay. But still, we had some great races, some good performances too, and we'll get to them later on the show.
Indeed we will. Joel Rosario, a nice five-bagger. Sentiero Italia, the star of the week, sit tight for all that. And, of course, today's Pick 6 carryover over a muddy Harrow track at Belmont Park. Let's get to Edgar Prado off the bat. We kick off headlines in fine fashion. Hall of Famer, 48 years old, and he has turned back the clock, it seems, over the last few weeks with some major stakes wins all over the country.
I mean, I think about growing up in Maryland and being about 2 or 3 years old, and Edgar just having a sensational meet. Journeyman at that point. It wouldn't be a couple years later that he moved his tack up here to New York, and here he is all over the country. Saratoga run happy a couple weeks ago in the King's Bishop, and there he is down in Louisiana Downs picking up a Super Derby win. So it was aboard Mobile Bay. So it's great to see Edgar doing well back in the South.
Well over 6,000 career victories, a Hall of Fame inductee in 2008. We'll talk about Mobile Bay and Edgar Prado and a whole lot more. 6 p.m. Monday, 7 p.m. Tuesday on the National Racing Report on this channel, MSG Plus. And the Racing Report has been a familiar spot for Shug McGahee's honor code. Came out of his breeze here yesterday, worked 5/8 on the main and 59-2. Came out in good shape. Your Whitney winner not going, it sounds, to the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
No, he's going to turn back and head to the Kelso. So that kind of leaves all of us scratching our heads as to, well, if he comes out of that race, fine, where will he run in the Breeders' Cup? Because obviously he's a very talented, older handicap type horse. He's already won going a mile here at Belmont Park, so Shug finds him suited to it. He didn't kind of have that option to run a mile at Saratoga, and I think it fits him. He won't have to face the likes of Tonalist.
Tonalist, who actually breezed 5/8 here yesterday in a little over a minute for Christophe Command. He's on target for a title defense in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Both those races on October 3rd. And Shug was on the record saying, if all goes well in the Kelso, we'll likely go in the Breeders' Cup Classic, which would be the showdown with American Pharaoh and a Breeders' Cup Classic, undoubtedly to remember.
Yeah, it really would be, considering both of their running styles, and it's at Keeneland, which, it's I don't want to say Santa Anita's unfair, but it does play well to speed horses. And honor code, he'll make his impression at Keeneland, I'm sure.
How about speed on this muddy Sunday at Belmont Park? Just a 9-race card, 12:55, rang in the day, and we'll get things going in our featured 8th race, the Allied Forces. No turf, off the grass, and all eyes are on Ready for Rye. Heavy odds-on favorite as we go to Larry Comas.
They're off in the Allied Forces. Ready for Rye comes out well. Conquest Tsunami also with speed. Disco Partner on the inside, and then it's first down, and Big Family trails the field. So it is Ready for Rye and Conquest Tsunami, and these two will go at it early on. They're head-and-head on the lead with Disco Partner 2 lengths off of them, and first down follows in fourth, 6 lengths off the lead. Big Family trails the field through a 22 3/4. Around the far turn, Javier Castellano and Ready for Rye on the outside of Jose Ortiz and Conquest Tsunami. These two now a neck apart. They've got 6 lengths on the others as first down takes third. Outside of Disco Partner and Big Family sweeps up on the far outside. It is Ready for Rye turning for home in front. After a 45 4/2 mile, Ready for Rye has put away Conquest Tsunami. Big Family is closing on the far outside and is now stormed up into second, but 6 lengths behind Ready for Rye as they come down to the 16th pole. Ready for Rye, much the best winner here, eased up through the stretch, wins it in hand by about 4.5 lengths in the end. And then it was Big Family first down and Conquest Tsunami.
3-year-old gelding by City Zip, now 5 for 9. And whether it rained, whether we stayed on the turf, it did not matter to Tom Albertrani because this horse hits hard no matter what the surface.
And it didn't matter to Ready for Rye either, as he's geared down here by Javier Castellano. He seems to like any surface for that matter. I mean, his fastest race came on a fast track at Gulfstream in a 105 and winning the Swale. He's run very fast twice now over wet surfaces. And he obviously likes the turf, too, as he's 2 for 2. So options abound for the very speedy 3-year-old Ready for Rye.
Who's trained by Tom Albertrani. And here he is.
You couldn't have been too worried, though, when it was off the turf in the Allied Forces. You had a pretty good hand any way you looked at it.
Yeah, I mean, we were very thankful that we got the rain, and, you know, this horse, he's just, I think, more superior in the slop, so it worked out well for us. Either way, I think we were in a good spot, but I'm glad it came off the turf. Just made it easier. Like Javier said, we could run back next week.
Yeah, it didn't take much out of him whatsoever. So are you looking towards the future, and where might we see him? Turf, dirt? Have you any clue?
Well, the good part is we have, you know, different options now, and I didn't map out any plan after today. You know, probably, you know, with the 3-year-olds, straight 3-year-olds, I think we have an end to that, you know, in the stake races. So we could be looking at something later on, you know, against the older horses. But I didn't have any plan at the moment with him.
Well, I have to ask you, you ran some pretty good-looking 2-year-olds, not a guy known for having them ready to fire first time out, but Riverdale, Direct Message, they come to my mind. Are there any that are ready to run here at Belmont in the near future that you can tell us about?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to have Riverdale back, you know, in the entries in a couple of weeks, and Direct Message the same as him. We ran a couple of nice fillies at Saratoga that also ran well. Berendini's half-sister ran really well, and some of the other fillies we ran were in the money, so we're hoping to come back with them, you know, in hopefully a couple of weeks. Well,
you're already off to a great start here at Belmont. Tom, congratulations in the Allied Forces.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, thumbs up from Javier. 3 wins and counting at the meet for Tom Albertrani, who, if you recall, and you tuned into Saturday's Insider, was a trainer to watch, and it worked out with a 1-5 shot in Ready for Rye. We're chalk-eating weasels here on the show. But anyway, what about the 2-year-olds with Tom going forward? You talked about a couple of them, Riverdale and Direct Message.
Riverdale and Direct Message were 2 colts that I liked, and I think there's a filly named Estelle, I believe is her name, that I really liked in the paddock first time out for Tommy. Very nicely put together filly that looked as though distance might be more her cup of tea, and hopefully we'll see her at Belmont, as he alluded to.
All right, good-looking Street Cry filly for Godolphin, won here on opening day. Maybe a race like the Frizette could be on the radar for her. Twilight Eclipse for the Joe Hurst Turf Classic, and quite a few stakes horses in the Albertrani barn. And we'll look for a future stakes horse. In fact, I think we've got one in the making. It's Mexicoma. It is Leah Giamatti's Noble Moon, and they will clash in today's 7th.
The new Parks Fall Festival will double purses for each of its 32 live racing days. What an opportunity for Pennsylvania breds. In an open maiden special, PA breds will run for over $100,000. So be there at Parks in the fall.
Hello, I'm Brian Sanfratello. Last year, we paid $33 million to PA breds in the form of breeder awards, owner bonuses, and restricted race purses. Our Equine Coalition Group is united in the pursuit of making sure that we receive every dollar we deserve. And that's why our Racehorse Development Fund has been constant in the past 4 years. Please go to our website at www.pabred.com or give me a call at 610-444-1050.
Back at beautiful Belmont Park, from the red and white of Saratoga Racecourse to the green at the Big B, although that does look like Saratoga with those horses thundering around the far turn. Anyway, you look at it, though, NYRA.com, the all-new look, NYRA.com, your one-stop shopping for all things Belmont Park Fall Championship Meet. If you haven't signed up for a NYRA.com wagering account, why don't you do it now? A free $125 bonus awaits. Entries, results, news, Jason Blewitt, Maggie Wolfendale, and all things are good 24/7 at NYRA.com.
Yes, they are grand looking, right? That's for sure. And new, and so many features on there. You can check out our YouTube channel as well, and just really, really fan friendly.
All right, well said. Let's move on to race number 7. Good crew of older horses battled in the mud over Big Sandy on this day number 3. Larry Comas had the call, and here he is.
Integrity stumbled coming out of the gate. Face of Winner goes out to the front with Noble Moon away running in second. And then it's Strong Stipulation to the inside, and the far outside moving up is Mexicoma as the field heads up the backstretch. Integrity's right there in between horses. The trailer is Second City. Up the backstretch they go. Face of Winner is the leader. Noble Moon is a half length behind running in second. Integrity going up into third between horses. Mexicoma's there on the outside. Strong Stipulation and last is Second City, only 4 lengths off the lead. 24 flat was the first quarter for Face of Winner, who is the leader up the backstretch. Noble Moon presses him on the outside. A neck back in second. Integrity, Strong Stipulation down at the rail. Mexicoma's on the far outside. And Second City is still about 4 lengths behind as Noble Moon ranges up alongside a Face of Winner after a 48 flat half mile, and Mexicoma gets going on the outside of them. Strong Stipulation is down on the inside. Second City and Integrity around the far turn. Noble Moon and Face of Winner. Noble Moon on the outside and Face of Winner at the rail, and these two will come toward the top of the stretch together. Mexicoma and Strong Stipulation right behind. 3/4 and 1, 13 and 1. And they're into the stretch. Face of Winner still going strong inside. On the far outside, Mexicoma, Noble Moon between those two. Mexicoma takes the lead. Mexicoma to the front. And then it's Face of Winner, Noble Moon to the outside, Strong Stipulation in Second City. But Mexicoma says, see ya later. Mexicoma romping home. And then it was Strong Stipulation, Face of Winner, and Noble Moon.
About a good-looking win you'll see in the mud today at Belmont Park. We're in good company, ready for Rye on a Mexicoma who was very sharp in the 7th.
Mexicoma loves the mud, Jay, as he's 2 for 2 over a wet surface here. I mean, that comeback win in the slop here at Belmont also was very impressive, and it kind of foreshadowed what we would see here today with the total blowout win of this second-level allowance.
And he had been gone off for about 13 months. Michael Dilger, the now trainer of this colt by Birdstone, good job by the barn, and Michael Dilger getting Mexicoma back to the races and in career form. And I like the ride as well from Jose Lascano, who stayed busy on him. Didn't want him to fall back too much, because as this card, and you'll see some more highlights today, it seemed to me a day you really wanted to be within striking range from the 3/8 Paul Holm.
Exactly, and on the outside, you didn't want to kind of lose that or get drafted in behind horses. I think if you were clear and closer to the pace, it just made your job that much easier.
Might be a graded stakes future. Graded stakes winning in the future of Mexicoma. Look good today once again. Race number 6, let's do it. We'll kick off the late pick 4. Cloudy skies in Elmont. We are off the turf, 3/4 on the main in this non-winners of one allowance race for fillies and mares.
They're off, and Sacred Success was very slow to begin. It is Uli who comes out running fast and opens up to lead by 2. Sun and Moon and Jet Majesty away 3rd and 4th, and then comes Clara Kelly outside of Privately Speaking, who's down at the rail. After that, it is Mela, Easy Feeling, and the very slow starting Sacred Success is last of them all. The first quarter in 22 and 3/5 seconds. Uli the leader on the far turn. Sun and Moon a length behind running in second. Clara Kelly is 3rd to the inside. Jet Majesty follows in 4th. Down on the rail is Privately Speaking in 5th, racing 5 lengths off the lead. After that comes Mela, Sacred Success, and Easy Feeling at the back of the pack as Uli turns for home in front. Ran 45 and 4 for a half mile, and Uli is the leader by 3 lengths. And then comes Sun and Moon second, trying to close the gap. Uli's lead is shortening, and Sun and Moon is coming and going right on by. And then it's Mela and Jet Majesty on the inside. Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon and Jose Ortiz won it. And then came Mela, followed by Uli and Jet Majesty.
And your point about the dead rail or riders avoiding the inside, very well taken here, very pronounced, in fact, with you lie out in the middle of the track, and even wider comes the eventual winner, Sun and Moon.
Yeah, just wearing down the winner, sat second on the outside throughout, Jay, as we were talking about. Sacred Success got away so slowly. That's just not her, totally taken out of her game, as she would have been where You Lie was. But a good run from that long shot. And Sun and Moon has improved, I would say, for the Chris Engelhart barn, taking down this allowance win.
Yeah, claimed her 4 starts back, $25,000. They just got her through her A other than, and the winner's share of a $77,000 purse. That's how you play the claiming game, and Jose Ortiz at that time picked up his second on the afternoon. What else happened? Day number 3. We're just getting underway at Belmont Park. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9 with Larry C.
On the outside, Lewis Bay has the rail, and the two of them turn for home with Lewis Bay under a hand ride, taking the lead. Erad Ortiz Jr. and Lewis Bay have taken charge. Here's Wave of Glory into second. Karen Silk is back running in third. Into the final furlong, it is Lewis Bay, and on the outside, Wave of Glory, and these two will decide it, and Wave of Glory's in front. Lewis Bay battles on. Wave of Glory, Lewis Bay, these two down to the line. Wave of Glory over Lewis Bay. A late move from Majestic Confection for third, then top of the stretch. And Roman Reigns doing better. Roman Reign has taken the lead. Live, Love, Laugh has given way. My Jimmy Choo Girl is next, and then comes Get Hot, Stay Hot. It is Roman Reign and Eric Consell on top down to the 16th pole, and My Jimmy Choo Girl trying to close the gap, but Roman Reigns got it. Roman Reign over My Jimmy Choo Girl, Get Hot, Stay Hot, and Live, Love, Laugh. And Jade Marie trails. It is Tiger Moth and Carumba. 3/4 in 1:11 and 2. They're into the stretch. Carumba under a hand ride, pulling away now. Carumba has put away Tiger Moth, and the others are well behind as they come into the final 16th. It is Carumba by 6. Tiger Moth is next, and then comes Jade Marie under the wire. Carumba by about 8 or 9 in the end over Tiger Moth, Jade Marie, and Piccolo Flats. They're 3/4 in 1:13 and 2. They're into the stretch. Grace Stark and Alto Bell, and they've put away the other two. And they're coming into the final furlong right together. Grace Stark's in front. Alto Bell fighting on with determination on the inside. But the advantage goes to Grace Stark, a 16th out. Alto Bell will not go away. Grace Stark, Alto Bell still fighting her. Here's the wire. Grace Stark has won it over Alto Bell. They were together the whole stretch drive. Stock is now 4th on the outside. They're into the stretch, and it is Point Hope. Point Hope turns for home after 3/4 in 1:13 flat and pulls away to lead by 4 as they race past the 8th pole. Point Hope by 5, leaving All My Trails behind in second, and then comes Duck Stock in third. No problem here for Point Hope. Point Hope comes down to the line all by himself. Won it by 10. All My Trails second. Duck Stock and Majestic
No
Guy.
shot of a double carryover in the Wednesday's card. $686 in a rather chalky pick 6. But I always kind of like that. If you got a carryover and it chalks out and it's pretty logical, it's nice seeing multiple people, everybody get a piece, and not syndicates throwing in 5,000 or 10,000.
Yeah, it makes it easier for the everyday player to cash in on the pick 6, and it's nice to have a carryover. And nice to, though, close out the week and look forward to Wednesday for maybe rolling into another type carryover.
No kidding, and hopefully we'll be back on the turf. The forecast, in fact, Monday and Tuesday
Beautiful.
looks good, and the turf courses got some needed rain, a very dry summer north in Saratoga, and of course down here on Long Island. So Glenn Kozak and his crew doing their usual great job, and we have no worries. We'll be back on the turf as Cappy takes out his binocs on day number 3, and we go all the way back to 12:55 and a gritty effort first time out from the number 4 Wave of Glory, who was under a very long drive, but a well bet firster for the Generazios, lived up to the tote support in her debut for Jimmy Ryerson.
I mean, is it me, or are we just seeing some midshipmans get kind of good right now?
Definitely.
I mean, obviously Lady Shipman comes to mind, but this one was well meant, and Jimmy Ryerson is one of those true trainers that when the money speaks, they really, speak on the racetrack as well. As Wave of Glory, she was bet down 5-2 from a 6-1 morning line, had good works and got the job done.
Yeah, well prepped by Jimmy Ryerson, who's also got that unbeaten New York bred 2-year-old filly. Yeah, she's ready, or she's all ready, by Girolamo. And I just noticed Dave Grenning wrote a couple days ago they may take a shot in the Grade 1 Frisette with her. But you're a fan,
She's
right?
Impressive. I really like this Girolamo filly, and I've been impressed with the Girolamos I've seen this year. Every single one of his 2-year-olds, and most of them New York breds, have run extremely well.
And much like Girolamo, the Generazios haven't missed a beat. 8 wins, third in the standings at Saratoga, and things were quiet regarding the claim box. Just a couple of claims, including a 3-way shake out of race number 5 with Little Miss Julia. I don't think she appreciated the wet track. We'll see what Linda Fisher can do with her next time out, as we look forward to our third segment on this Sunday edition of Insider. A short week, but a good week with some big efforts, and we'll talk about it after the break. Moving down the stretch at green and beautiful Belmont Park on this Sunday afternoon. It's Maggie, it's Jason, it's Sunday's Insider, and before the sun sets and we hit the finish line, how about a little bonus, hot off the press, the Woodbine Mile. They just hit the wire. Robert Geller with the call as we go north of the border.
At the moment, obviously, as they go down to the 3/8 by 3.5. Reporting Star is second, and they went through the half in 46 and 3. 8 lengths away the others. Then came Lee, Turncoat, Tower of Texas, Kagan, Mr. Owen, Mondial East, and Platinum Glory. Reporting Star's coming on. Obviously, only a length. Reporting Star only a length and a half behind, is desperate to make up the ground, and the others are running now. Lee, Tower of Texas, and Kagan, and caving in is obviously challenged by Reporting Star. Obviously, Reporting Star, and here comes Lee, and bulldozing through as well, right between horses. Mondial East coming. Mondial East has got up to win the Woodbine Mile. Second Lee, then came obviously in Kagan.
Plenty of tote support right around 4-1 with Mondial East. Fergal Lynch timed it right and split horses and bowled his way through to get the money in the $1 million Woodbine Mile.
Yeah, this Irish bed for David Amira looked good in doing so. First time Lasix, first time here in the States. And, obviously I thought ran a really, really game race. Coming back, first race of the season as a 7-year-old for Phil D'Amato. And, finished third. And Lee, a good return to the turf, but an exciting Woodbine Mile.
Yeah, they usually get a good one. We miss Wise Dan. Hope he has a great retirement, but the horses that were in his place, or at least subbing without the 2-time Horse of the Year, put on a good show north of the border. Turf is where it's at as we get to the week's top performers, and again, we've only been here 3 cards post-Saratoga, but we have to go back and take a look at Sentiero Italia. She was that good in taking Saturday's Grade 2 $500,000 Sands Point in a driving rainstorm.
Yeah, she earned a 98 speed figure here, Jay, her best so far. And as you were kind of saying before, this filly's just getting better and better. And as long as Lady Eli is recovering, but yet still not on the tracks, Interior Italia kind of commands this division, at least here on the East Coast.
6 wins and counting at the meet for Joel Rosario. Hot as gangbusters, the first 2 cards. Just missed by a half a head aboard Lee in the Woodbine Mile that we just looked at. And he was aboard Sentiero Italia and 4 other winners here on Saturday.
Yeah, he took all 3 stakes before Javier taking the Allied Forces today. Just got off to a great start, and I think he was riding very well, especially towards the end of Saratoga, but just on the right horses, had the right timing this past weekend, and almost had the right timing in the Woodbine Mile as he wasn't here riding today.
Let's look at the jockey standings with 3 cards down at beautiful Belmont Park. And despite missing a full card, 9 races today, Joel's still number 1. Irad Ortiz picked up a win today. Jose Ortiz picked up 2 wins on the Sunday program. And one of the horses Jose was aboard for, a blowout win, Carumba, Bertadini filly, really turned some heads for Shug McGahee.
Yeah, she is nice. She likes a wet track, too, as we were talking about Mexicoma. The ones that like it, you can really, really tell, and they had blowout wins. I'm glad that the weather's going to be good, though, too, because it makes handicapping a little more fair, I think, when the racetrack is dry.
Right, and we want people to bet. You know,
Yeah.
we don't want the numbers to be down. It was a tough autumn with plenty of rain here a year ago at Belmont. Let's hope that's not the case after Mother Nature was so good to us throughout the entire 40-day meet at Saratoga. And in regards to being good, well, 19 races were up and down on Friday and Saturday, and it was that man, Graham Ocean, who walked away with a couple of stakes wins.
Yeah, Graham, you know, a bit of a trying Saratoga. He was still successful overall, but he couldn't hide his happy emotion when I talked to him for this win here in the Temperance Hill with Tacticus. Miss Ella off the turf, but still got the win in the Christie Cat on Friday on opening day, and Graham does a superb job. He is so organized for having operations all over the East Coast. He has a barn here now at Belmont, and looking forward to seeing more of his runners here.
2 wins for Graham, 2 wins for Chad Brown, who picked up a narrow 2-year-old filly off the turf win in today's 4th race with Grace Stark. I think she's a better turf filly as we say goodbye to the trainer standings. And, of course, we have the National Racing Report Monday and Tuesday, 6 p.m. Monday, 7 p.m. on Tuesday. We covered a lot of ground. We hit Woodbine, Churchill, and the races here at Belmont.
Exactly, and that Super Derby, as we talked about earlier on the card, and, you know, looking forward to next week, too, and all of it's going to kind of culminate. And, unfortunately, I won't be doing National Racing Report with you on Super Saturday, but I can't wait for that one, and I can't wait for that day.
You could take my spot and host the show.
No,
with the
that's
knuckleheads.
okay. That's
no?
okay.
You sure?
No, yeah.
All right. You'll be busy riding horses over on the training track,
exactly.
right?
I'll wave as I go by on the main track here.
All right, let's wave goodbye, actually, as we say goodbye. We thank you for joining in on this Sunday edition of Insider. Back on the turf this coming Wednesday. And study up. 9 races, 12:55 first post.